All right, I'd like to call to order the monthly meeting for Boise Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. Welcome to everybody that's here face to face, and also welcome to everybody joining us on Zoom. So first deal would be to have the clerk do a quick roll call.
Faber,
Here.
Carter, Johnson,
Here.
Mazu,
Here.
Faber,
Here.
Ruzicka,
Here.
Stidham,
Here.
Urban. Here.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to point out for those online that might be listening as well, that we appreciate your effort to step in as president today. President Urban had some commitments at home and was not able to join us in person. And it gets a little clunky to try to run a meeting and or a public hearing via Zoom. And so we asked, with President Carter out, President Urban would be stepping into that role, and she was geared up and ready to go. And then has this commitment. And so we asked Commissioner Ruzicka, who served in this role previously, to step in and run our meeting for us today. So thank you, Commissioner Ruzicka.
You bet. Glad to help. I can't wait to get my special treat next month from, just kidding. All right, so moving on to new business. So first up would be looking at our minutes from August 18th. I think everybody received the minutes in our packets. And if there's no changes or edits, I would entertain a motion regarding our minutes.
I move we approve the minutes.
Okay, so we have a motion that's been seconded. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
I think that was just a late aye. All right, very good. All right, moving on to B, which is the Sunset Park dog off leash hours proposal. This is a public hearing, but before we get into that and open that up, I think we have a presentation. Sarah's here today. So Sarah, welcome. Thanks for being here. We'll turn this over to you to kind of talk a little bit about the process and what you found out. So thanks again for being here.
Thank you for having me, commissioners. It's really nice to see you all. So today we are going to be going over a proposal for some changes to the dog off leash hours at Sunset Park. So here is, just to kind of orient everyone, here is Sunset Park. Hopefully, can you see the presentation? Okay. It's located between 36th Street and 32nd Street. If you've driven on 36, it kind of is tucked behind the vertical church there with a nice pathway that you can see from 36th Street. It's a nice community park. It has tennis courts and play features and a dog off leash area, obviously, and some ball fields. So it's one of our actively used park within in a neighborhood. Back in 2011, the neighbors had approached the city to offer some off-leash dog hours in the morning. It's a 10-acre park, about 4.4 acres is available for dog off-leash area. It's nice and kind of nestled within the park, not near a road. It's a good spot to have a potential opportunity for dog off-leash use. And so since 2011, there has been allowed dog off-leash use at this park year-round from sunrise to 10 a.m. And if any of you have had kids in the YMCA soccer program, you will have seen those dog off-leash hours being utilized. It's a very popular location. In 2021, the commission was asked to consider and approved a request to add some new hours. So in addition to year-round sunrise to 10 a.m., there's now an evening hour opportunity between 3 p.m. and sunset between the designated dates, October 15th through March 15th. And I can repeat that if I need to. I had to read through it a few times myself just to make sure I understood it. So year-round, sunrise to 10 a.m. In the months October 15th through March 15th, there's a second opportunity to have your dogs off leash at this park between 3 p.m. and sunset. And that's been very successful. And I think due to that success, we were asked to entertain in November of last year an opportunity to add those add hours between the sunrise and sunset from that October to March. So rather than having 2 time blocks, October to March, of dog off leash opportunities, it would be sunrise to sunset normal park hours during those months. The department sought feedback from the neighbors, from the community, to extend this seasonal off-leash hour. Again, not just 2 time blocks, but for the whole day, sunrise to sunset. We sent out postcards, put signs up at the park, used some social media sites to get the word out, and received pretty good feedback. I think 264 respondents to a survey like this, or an opportunity to engage like this, is really encouraging. And the vast majority of survey respondents supported the extended hours between October and March, 85%. The comments, I don't know if you had a chance to read through the comments. I did. It was delightful. People are really excited to have an opportunity to tell us what they think. And in looking through those comments, they brought up some valid concerns. Is this going to cause turf damage? We don't want to have a mud pit, in our backyard. There was also some concern with regard to the overlap with those sports fields. And so we had the opportunity to talk as a team and vet some of those concerns and identify if we're seeing any of them now. And our team is very comfortable with the quality of the turf. They're not seeing impacts to the turf with the existing hours. And we're not getting, negative impacts with the existing cooperative use between the sports fields and the dogs. Obviously, there are occasional issues, but it's not enough for it to be detrimental to either one of those uses. And of course, if any of these things do arise, you always have the opportunity to revisit these policies. So our recommendation is to move forward with that seasonal dog off leash hours to be updated to sunrise to sunset from October 15th to March 15th. And if this is approved, it would go into effect October 15th of this year. And again, the sunrise to 10 a.m. will stay in effect year round. So I'm looking forward to answering any questions you might have. And with that, I'll thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sarah. Any questions from the commission for Sarah?
I read one, I think it's related to this one, but it's there was a person that had received a citation for having their dog off leash. Have there been many incidences at this location?
We do get monthly reports from our animal control officers who cover all of the parks. And we have not seen a spike at sunset that would be different from any other park that has dog off leash hours. And of course, those animal enforcement officers are doing their best to educate folks first. And especially given that a lot of our off leash regulations aren't the same across our park system, they're pretty good about trying to educate first. So I would assume if someone received an enforcement action, it was not the norm and not the majority of interactions with those folks.
Mr. President, Commission members, I get the report. I can't recall, Commissioner Raber, what the last month report indicated with Sunset Park. It doesn't jump off the page. The big ones are like Esther, Elm Grove, some of the more inner city parks that we spend a little bit, our enforcement team spends a little more time at because of concerns in those parks. But we're happy to, we could actually send that report. Merlani, I'm looking at you. We could do that even monthly to you. So you have, because you are the approving board, the approving body of when we bring these off leash opportunities to you. So we could forward that report to you. It's pretty extensive. It goes through, as Sarah mentioned, and talks about the actual citations, the warnings that they provide, the numbers of those. It provides the park sites, and it also provides what the citation is. So is it off leash? Is it failure to pick up? Those kinds of things. So it's good information for you to have. And then when one of these comes up again, you could quickly refer to the report and you could see yourself kind of what the history of issues are with that at that particular park.
Right. That might be useful.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think in that same public comment, they said that they felt like the hours or the hours were confusing. But I doubt many people are going from one park to the next park to the next park comparing hours. So I think it's fine to have the hours that work for that park, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Sarah. I was just going to jump in because we actually, Mr. President, commission members had this conversation. We've been having this conversation as a team. And there is, it's like the desire to be as consistent as we can with all parks is important. But we also have to recognize, and you just said it, Commissioner Raber, these really serve neighborhoods specifically, and all neighborhoods are different. Some of our off-leash hours and times are really tailored towards what the neighborhood would like to see. And I'd like us to try to continue to do that if we can, but no question, there can be confusion. Just read what we're proposing, and it is, you got to read it a couple of times to say, now is it a year round you're doing what, but it's completely different than what we have at other parks. So we're trying to be sensitive to what neighborhoods are asking for. And if we can do that, we really do want to try to do that.
The only thing I would add, Commissioner Raber, is that this actually would kind of simplify, if you go forward with this recommendation, it would simplify the regulations at this park, in my opinion. And I think we would need to update signage and have talked about how we can make that as clear as possible, both for our animal enforcement folks and for the people who are utilizing the park.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the commission? Right. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
So before we go into the public hearing, I wanted to welcome Councilmember Sanchez. Sorry, I should have mentioned and welcomed you at the roll call. Perhaps I'm a little rusty and clunky here at the run in the meeting, but I know the commission and the department always appreciate your involvement and support. So thank you for being here today. So welcome. All right, so next, we would like to open this up at this point for the public hearing in regards to the Sunset Park dog off leash hours proposal. I don't see anybody here today in the gallery. So I think next we'll move to make sure that we have anybody that would like to testify or give public testimony that's on the Zoom link. So let's just pause and see if we have.
We do have a couple.
Okay.
We'll start with Aaron Pollard.
Okay. Did you say Aaron? Okay. All right, Aaron, welcome. So as we do this, if you could please state your name and address. And then what we've typically done is give you 2 minutes or 3 minutes, 3 minutes to testify. However, if you are representing an association like what am I thinking? Like a homeowners association, thank you. We would give you 10. So
I'm not, I'm just a person.
is Aaron available?
She's just speaking.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Aaron, go ahead and if you give us your name and your address.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I live on Harrison Boulevard, in some apartments. But I go to Sunset Park. I live at 2260 North Harrison. And Sunset Park's really close to me. I love taking my dog there to go run around off leash. And it's one of the few parks that that offers that kind of thing for dogs. But I would love if they could extend the hours because sometimes I have to go to work. Sometimes my schedule is different. I can't make it in the morning and I can't go at night because the hours are closed at that time at night. So I just want to say that I'm all for the extension of hours because it would really help me and my dogs if they could do that. That's kind of what I'm here to say.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for joining us in and giving testimony today. We appreciate it. And I think we have one more, perhaps, online.
Yep, we have Joel Smith.
Okay. All right. Welcome, Joel. If you could just state your name and address for us, and then we'll turn it over to you as well.
Hello. Yeah, I'm actually just here to listen and observe. I did not intend to raise my hand, but yeah, thanks for letting me be here.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us. All right. Just double check if we have everybody. Okay. All right. So I think we have everybody that would like to speak to that. So at this point, we'll go ahead and close our public hearing for the dog off leash proposal at Sunset Park. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to the commission for any comments or questions. Hearing none, I would open it up for a proposal in terms of a motion.
I move that we accept the department's recommendation and extend the off-leash hours from October 15th to March 15th through sunrise to sunset.
You said that very well. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, great. All right, thank you. All right, so moving on to part C, which are some project updates. I think we're going to turn this over to Director Holloway to walk us through some project updates.
Great. Yes. Thank you, Mr. President and commission members. Before I get to our updates, I did want to give a shout out to one of our commissioners and their business. Today, the Holland Hart Law Firm, which Commissioner Stidham is a partner in, celebrated their 75th anniversary as a firm by actually having a service day, and they spent their service day doing an Adopt the Greenbelt project by doing a cleanup on the Greenbelt. And so I just wanted to acknowledge how much we appreciate that service that your firm provided today, and is a great example, Commissioner Stidham, of why Boise is such a special place to live and why we have such a special park and recreation system, because we have businesses and individuals that take such pride in ownership of the things that we have here that many cities don't have. And the example of your firm today really exemplifies that care and that service and that love for their community. So I just wanted to let you know, we know that your team was out there today, and we appreciate your team doing your part to keep our Greenbelt looking great. So I just wanted to make that announcement. Commissioner, you're walking the talk as being a member of this commission.
The only thing I would add is I'm the one person who's not there.
Dang, you are going to divulge that, right?
I would. But I just like to say, Doug, that those comments are very appreciated. And the one thing I wanted to add, which is a testament to you and Parks and Rec and City Council, just how beloved the Greenbelt is. When the option came open, or when we all knew we were going to take a service day, the question went out, what would folks like to do? And overwhelmingly, it was do something for the park, and in particular the Greenbelt. So thank you for your comments, and just it's a good reminder also how valuable your work is, your team's work is, and how beloved the
Well, thank you, Commissioner. Volunteers are a backbone of our department, so we appreciate that as well. So thank you very much. Okay, so we just wanted to just give you a quick update on some things that are happening. Some of these you're very well aware of. In fact, some of you commissioners have actually attended some of the ribbon cuts we have had on a couple of things we'll talk about, but just wanted to take a couple of minutes and just run through some of the projects and let you know, give you a quick update on where we're at with them. So this is our the infamous Ann Morrison fountain, and I call it infamous because it's taken a couple of years for us to get a design and get product and get a contractor, everything that could be a hindrance to getting this project done has been thrown our way. But we've stuck to it, and with the support of our council and continuing to provide additional funding as construction costs have soared, as our supply chain issues arise. They're related a lot, not only to not being able to get product, but product we could get was costing way more than what original bids had come in at. So this has really been quite an undertaking by our department, but the light is there at the end of the tunnel. We have everything is being done right now. All products are in line. Contractor is working on this one, and I'll show you a slide at Molinar, also on a project out at Molinar. So if they're not here doing work, they're out there doing work, and they're just jumping back and forth between the two sites. Our hope was this was going to be open before or around Memorial, then 4th of July. And then right now, we're just hoping that it gets open before it freezes, which we think it should. Based upon feedback from the contractor. So our hope is we can get it open. It may not be conducive for kids to be engaging and running through it and playing in it this year. That may have to wait until next year, but at least we could get it up and running before we winterize it, and at least let our public have an opportunity to see what the fountain's all about. So anyway, that's your update on the fountain. Again, hoping within the next month that we will have construction completed and be able to at least get it open and people to be able to have an opportunity to see how cool it is. So Julia Davis, if you've been over on the east end of the park, you'll see that there is a lot of construction happening over there. We're redoing the section of the green belt. But the biggest part of this project that is so important to this part of the park is that we're adding a shelter, or what we refer to as a pavilion, and a restroom at that location. And if you're familiar with the Ag Pavilion near the zoo, on the, I guess it would be the southwest end of the park in front of the zoo, that is really a duplicate of what you will see on the east end now. So there will be quite a large plaza area. It will be very conducive and open to engaging groups for reservations in that part. And also now we'll open up the east end. And again, if you're familiar with it, where the Cancer Survivor Plaza is and Trevor's Trek are next to each other that are on the pond, there's no restrooms on that side and there's no shelters on that side. And so there's really no opportunity for us to put that whole east end of the park into our special event portfolio. And so once we're done with these upgrades, we will actually now be able to do that. And it's very important to point that out because the west end of the park is really overrun with park events constantly. And so this gives us an opportunity now to not only take on some new events in the park, but to maybe even push some of our legacy events that we have on the east side, or excuse me, on the west side over to the east side of the park. So we anticipate all this happening and getting completed before winter. And so Molinar Park, I had mentioned that the contractor doing the Ann Morrison Fountain is also doing the splash pad that we will be putting in at Molinar Park. Again, under construction, probably won't be completed in time for anyone to enjoy it before the winter hits. But that neighborhood is real excited to have this amenity is added to the park. And this has been the city council's one of their a project near and dear to City Council's heart because they wanted to see this get developed in Southwest Boise. We don't have a lot of opportunities for our Southwest residents in that part of our community. And so we did green this park up a few years back. I should have the date for you, but it's been at least 5 years, I believe, since we've greened it up. We have some soccer fields there, and that pretty much was all we had there. But recognizing Councilmember Sanchez and her peers on the council, they were adamant they wanted to use general fund dollars, capital dollars, not impact fees, but actual capital dollars to go into the park and start adding some amenities to it, which included the restroom and the splash pad and the shelter as well. So the playground was completed this past year and is arguably one of the most visited playgrounds in the entire Treasure Valley. And so once we add the splash pad component to that, this is going to be the park for people to want to go to. And so it hit the note on what Council Sanchez and her peers wanted to see happen. And that was provide an amazing amenity for those residents in Southwest Boise. So Pine Grove is a park we have that is adjacent to the right adjacent to the freeway. This park is, and I always want to say Cloverdale, but it's not off Cloverdale, but it is up. The road is escaping me right now, but it is just beyond the mall on the south side of Franklin Road, and it's right where Franklin, right where I want to say maybe it is 5 Mile or Maple Grove, where it intersects with the overpass to go over the overpass. This little park sits just off to the left or the east side of, and then north of the freeway. When this land was purchased, this truly is one of the parks that really showed the vision of my predecessor. This was a piece of farm ground. There were no houses or anything around this. It was a couple of barns when we bought it, purchased it decades ago. And now this park is completely shrouded in houses and in multi-family units. I think it's completely built out around the park. And so a great vision to have bought this plot of land because now it provided that critical open space to an area that has grown tremendously over the last 5 to 8 years. So we're just completing some of the amenities at this park. We greened it up again, I believe it was about 4 years ago. It does have a dog off-leash area and then green space, and that pretty much was it. So now we're adding shelters and playgrounds and restroom to this location. And so Franklin Park, we just cut the ribbon on the new play feature and the outdoor gym a couple of weeks ago. This is really a unique and cool structure. It is unique in that we're back to the old style of metal slides, which caught people off guard because their first response and reaction was, this is going to be really super hot on kids. And that's why we got away from those several decades ago. But this is a special reflective metal that actually makes a cool temperature inside that tube. And so I won't refer to it as heat resistant, but it does reflect the sun and does not cause any additional, it does not cause heat inside there. In fact, it's less of a heat issue than what our typical plastic play facilities are. This one also does not have a ladder up to the top of that cool looking geodesic looking top there. You have to actually climb up the netting. I don't believe Councilmember Sanchez decided to do that when she was there. Yeah, but the mayor did. She did it in a skirt, as a matter of fact, and just scurried right up to the top of it, got in and slid down. And so yeah, someone needed to do it, right? And Councilmember Clegg started to, and then she stopped and said, I'm not going to make the climb up the up through the netting there. So it just adds a new component to a play feature where there's certainly a little bit of a physical exertion to go up a ladder to a slide. This one is much more. So it adds a kind of a PE component to going down the slide. And then the outdoor gym, you can see just back behind the structure. This structure does have a number of all accessible components to it. And you can see off to the right, there is a small area for small children so that we have a slide actually that will still accommodate those that don't want to go up to the, or are unable due to their size or age to get up to the top of the big slide. Bowden Park, this is our first all accessible play feature that we have in our system. And it won't be our last. I'll tell you that right now, commission members. We have been receiving tremendous positive response on this from parents that have children that in a lot of our playgrounds, they have access to some of the features, but they don't have access to all of them. And this playground creates that access for all children, regardless of their ability or mobility considerations. And so we want to create play features that are available at least to some extent to everyone. But I think we can even get more creative and create play features like this and then add a whole nother feature to it for challenges for other children that do not have mobility issues, but they all can utilize the same playground, but not the same play features. And so, and nothing precludes all children from using this play feature. At the end of the day, it's just designed for those that have mobility issues. And we also added a restroom to this park as well. And then we have a couple of exciting trail accessibility improvements that we actually are taking to council in a quick presentation on Tuesday, and also asking council at the Tuesday city council meeting to approve funding from the Clean Water and from the Open Space and Clean Water Advisory Committee fund. And these two trails will be fully accessible to all who, regardless of their mobility considerations. One will be in the Hulls Gulch area, where we'll be adding just the trail we're talking about already has some accessibility, but the access to get onto the trail, there's some issues there. So we're adding a new connection that will provide that. And then we're also adding a connection in Camel's Back Reserve to be able to make that fully accessible as well. And again, this goes to the city council on the 20th. And we're doing the presentation to council because when the mayor's vision is to create a city for everyone. And obviously that includes making certain that anything we're building or anything that we have, that we're doing everything we possibly can to make it accessible to everybody. And so we do have a number of trails in the system right now that are fully accessible, and they're primarily those that are on all weather trails. Because of the compacted material we use, it does allow for those with mobility considerations to be able to use those trails. These do not have that, completely have that accessibility, and that will be provided in the construction and funding provided through our Open Space and Clean Water Fund. And so those will be moving forward. And then I think finally, last but not least, we're extremely excited about opening our latest Boise School District school-based Kids City Community Center, after school community center. We've been wanting to add Hillcrest for a number of years. It finally came to fruition with funding. Thank you, Council Member Sanchez and Council Pro Tem Woodings. Our after school community centers are very near and dear to her heart, and she has pushed hard to get Hillcrest added. Unfortunately, during the pandemic, we couldn't get it done. And then last year, because of the staffing shortage, we still weren't able to get it open. And so we were hoping to get it open around the 1st of October, and we're still working through some staffing considerations to get enough staffing aboard to be able to get this open. But we're confident it will happen at some point this fall. And we're just excited to be able to serve the children that attend Hillcrest. And there's a high need at this school. I'm sure President Rosiska could speak more to that, but There are a lot of children in this neighborhood that do not have good access to after school services, nor have the financial means to access some of the services that would be available. And so this will be a great addition to our portfolio. And I think this gets us up to 11 total after school-based community centers, of which 10 of those are in the Boise School District and 1 is in the West Ada School District. So I will pause there if you have any questions on any of those projects. Otherwise, Mr. President, I believe that concludes our presentation.
Thank you, Director Holloway. That's just fantastic. Well, those updates are amazing. Every time I hear somebody come to Boise, maybe for the first time, or they just first moved to Boise, I think one of the things they notice right away are the parks that we have in our city. You know, one of many things, but parks is one of them. They're so nice, and there's, you know, many of them. I particularly like the splash pad at Molinar. I think having water features at our parks is so good for our kids, especially how many 100+ days did we have, right? And so just having the kids be able to get outside and do that. So really well done. A lot of exciting stuff there. So congratulations. Thank you for that update. Any comments or questions for?
I think I got a hot mic, but I just noticed with the fountain, I love the accessibility, because I can picture, yes, children enjoying that, but you know, somebody in a wheelchair being able to be a part of that as well. And when we were at the ribbon cutting for, I think it was to the Franklin Park, we had I think a mom show up with a dog, and she enjoyed the misters as we were there because it was a hot day. And it's been really neat just to see, especially after the last couple of years, as we've recognized exactly how much having those amenities available to our residents really has paid off. I mean, none of us anticipated how much folks would take to the trails or really make themselves at home in the parks. But I mean, that in itself is a vote of confidence, I think, from the public of how much we need those and need to expand them. And I am so excited for our folks in the Southwest part of our city to enjoy that built out park of Molinar as well. So thank you. This is all very exciting, and looking forward to the after school program at Hillcrest as well.
Very well said. Thank you. Right, anything else? Any other comments, questions? All right. Hearing none, I don't think we have any need for executive session. So I think we're down for a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Great. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.